I'm starting off today's episode by removing these 3 large green base plates in front of the city and adding in the first 3 modular buildings: the downtown diner, the police station, and the Parisian restaurant. I've also lit all 3 of them up, and that was, as always, an enjoyable process.
Oh no! Yes! Ah! 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 Yes!
But at least I think it looks really good, as you can see here. And in my opinion, it elevates the look of all the buildings and the entire area. And it makes it easier to see all the details hidden inside the buildings that otherwise would never have seen the light of day. So all in all, I would say that it was worth the time and struggle. The way I lit up my buildings were using a string of Christmas lights I bought for $10 at Clas Ohlson. This makes the whole process of adding in the lights more time consuming and the result less impressive. And the modular aspect of the city is completely lost, as I'm not able to take out any floor or building since all of them are connected using the same string of lights. So, at least it's cheap though. Generally speaking, I'm not able to put lights into small places like light posts and street lights, but something I'm very happy with is that I was able to add in 2 lights behind the diner sign, which lights it up, making it look like it has 2 spotlights behind it. And the fact that it's lit up using Christmas lights is almost forgotten. Moving on. Now that the buildings are placed in, can we see that the sidewalk of the building plus those extra 8 studs that I've added creates a promenade. So to make the promenade look like a promenade, am I starting off by adding in some railing. And I'm using these 1x4x2 bar pieces as the railing with 1x2 tiles to cover up the gaps between. But these bar elements I use only come in one size, meaning that I end up having a problem at the end of the promenade. But I got a solution. I can just karate chop it up and it's all fine. But at this point, the whole thing looks just a bit boring. You can see all the different colored plates and there is no detail here whatsoever. So let's fix that. Starting off, I need a set of stairs so you can get from the promenade up to the rest of the city. Maybe a bit longer stairs so it actually goes the whole way up. And let's make them take a turn in the middle so it's not so long and ugly. Something like that, yeah. Moving on. I would like to add in some sort of green patch next to it to add in a splash of color. But let's make it a bit more detailed by adding in some leaf and grass pieces. And maybe a tree to add in some heights. I'm thinking of adding in a palm tree, but this will work to show the idea. Moving along even further, would I like to have a fountain when you come up to the promenade from the beach. And to dictate the size have I decided to use these 4x4 round bricks, meaning the footprint of the fountain is 8x8 studs. And the idea was that it was a water fountain, so let's add some water. Next, I'm leaning towards expanding the seating area at the Parisian restaurant with about 4 more tables and a lot of chairs, but not quite sure yet what I will do. Still, I would like to add some more stuff, like a couple of benches, some light posts, and some potted plants. But now that the general plan is laid out, let's get building. I'm starting it off by building the staircase that leads from the end of the promenade to the rest of the city, which is another 9 bricks higher up. The design of the staircase is quite simple, where it is a set of concrete stairs in light bluish grey, built using the same techniques as the rest of the harbor, which makes it fit in quite nicely. And I've decided to make the stuff you walk on out of dark bluish grey, just to add in some extra contrast. And the railing is made using some skeleton legs that's holding up some flex tube. I think they turn out quite nicely. Definitely helps having lots of open studs and using some masonry bricks in the staircase to add in some more detail. But I think I will have to go back at some point and add in some more detail. Not just on the stairs, but even more on the harbor area. There are some parts that I'm not quite 100% happy with. Let's start on this green patch I was talking about. And to not make it too prominent and large, have I decided to make the area a triangle. And I also think it fits quite nicely into the area between the staircase and the entrance to the beach. To add in that extra detail and making it more interesting, I'm adding in lots of these grass elements. And then in the end, the palm tree I was talking about. But as you maybe can see, I'm missing some of the leaf elements on the top. So at the moment, it's a bit small and bare, but that will be fixed as soon as I get to ordering some more parts. Now, for the water fountain. It's super simple. Just a blue plate surrounded by these grey 4x4 round bricks. And the fountain currently is quite standard and similar to the one in the assembly square. But I'm not sure if it will stay that way. I have an idea I would like to try out, but currently don't have the pieces, so we'll see what I'll do in the future. Moving on. I said earlier that I wanted to expand the seating for the Parisian restaurant, but decided against that. Now I'm going to add in a little ice cream stand, but I feel it takes up a bit too much space, so to solve that problem am I removing some of the fencing, so it only takes up 4 studs instead of 7. However, this makes the backside look ugly and unfinished. So to fix that, am I removing some of the wall so I can add in these slopes so it looks more rounded off. Now, I can add the ice cream stand back in, but as you'll probably catch at this point is that it's not yet finished. And that's because I don't have all the pieces I need. But that will be fixed in the future, and if you want to get a sneak peek of what it's gonna look like, can you check out my Rebrickable page. I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, I'll add in some chairs and tables so the people buying from the store actually has somewhere to sit when they eat their ice cream. With that are all the main things placed down, and the promenade in this area is nearing its completion. But as you can clearly see, it's still quite empty and boring. And you can see all the different colored plates that's holding this area up. So let's fix that. The way I'm fixing it is by covering it up with a whole lot of 2x2 light bluish gray tiles in a staggered pattern. I'm also adding in some jumper plates and normal plates, so I'm able to put in more detail later on, as well as making it not look too perfect. It is a bit of the same thing I'm doing around the entrance to the beach area. By adding in some tan plates and dark bluish gray tiles, does it almost look like people have dragged with them sand and water up from the beach. I have to be honest. I think that tiling in Lego has to be one of the most satisfying things in the whole world. Just seeing all the studs disappear in front of you and all those different colored and ugly plates vanish, leaving an incredibly smooth surface that you just want to drag your fingers through. For me, it's a bit too smooth, where it becomes just a bit bland. So here I'm adding in some studs as well. This means that the tiling process is a bit less satisfying, but still, you cannot lie. Tiling in Lego is amazing and we all love it. But now that that's done and the whole promenade is tiled, is it only the final details we're missing? So, I'm adding back all the things I removed to be able to tile it up, as well as some other stuff like benches, trash cans, plants, light posts, minifigures and other random things that just make it look a little bit more interesting. And when I'm placing down minifigures, am I always trying to make it interesting and give every single person a story or an idea of what they're doing. If it's just walking to the beach or throwing a coin into the fountain or eating ice cream with their boyfriends. I'm always trying to create small stories. I think that way of thinking gives the city that little extra layer of realism and brings even more interest to the city. Now, I'm almost done adding in the details, just the last few minifigures to place. And with that, is the promenade officially finished. And I'm super happy with myself and what I was able to put together. I'm surprised by how well it turned out, and it really puts a smile on my face seeing the city finally start to come alive. For those who don't know, I've been building a city for maybe 7 years now. Not this city, but a few different ones over the years. And I've always tried to get as much big things into it and make it as big as possible. And I've been just focusing on filling up the gaping holes in the city. But this time, I'm doing it a bit different. I swear I now tackle one spot at a time and finish that completely before moving on to the next. And through doing it like this, I'm able to see the city really come to life in a way I've never seen before. And it also helps having a collection of Lego that has accumulated through more than 10 years of collecting. Anyway, in the next episode, I will start working on the beach that goes directly in front of this area. But before you go, I want to show you a before and after picture of this area. So this is the before picture. And you can see it's pretty much empty with those 3 green base plates. And this is the after picture. You can see a lot has changed and pretty much everything is new. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.